I titled this segment Colonel White's Laws of Leadership. And I think you're really going to like this segment, especially if you're a person that really likes to boil it down. In this segment, Colonel White's going to tell you over the 30 years that he spent in the Army, what he learned were the most important things, whether it be in combat or during peace times, under a lot of stress or under more relaxed times. He's going to tell you what he really thinks are the most important things you need to be thinking about as a leader and how to really develop yourself to become even better leader than you are now.
And this is a 2-page document that I came up with, Dan. I was asked in civilian life, in a job I had, I was asked to give a leadership class. Okay, and I never put things to paper about leadership. And by the way, 2 pages will never cover, because this is continuous, but there's a few key words I just wanted to focus on. And I entitled it Leadership, the Art and Science, because it's both. Character. Or a good character, a person that you can depend on. You know, do you have that kind of character? Do you always choose the hard right versus the easy wrong? Never ask anyone to do something unpleasant, dangerous, something you don't want to do that you wouldn't do yourself. Now, I saw that every day in combat, because you're asking guys to basically get killed. You know? Are you placing that guy out there? Would you do the same thing? They're going to see. Nobody, I always say this, nobody ever dug my foxhole. I'm a lieutenant, I'm a captain, I'm a whatever, but I dig my own foxhole. And a foxhole can apply to anything. I'm just using that as a...
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Be worthy of others to emulate you. Be worthy of that emulation, you know?
Yeah.
Leaders are constantly observed. Make it a worthwhile experience. You're a leader. You're constantly being observed. Make it worthwhile for the first person that's looking at you. Responsibility. When in charge, take charge. It goes back to what I said earlier. The moment you take over, you're in charge. You're responsible. Do not blame somebody behind you, before you, or after. You know, well, he or she messed this place up. Just keep your mouth shut. Just fix it. Get it done. Don't blame somebody else. Don't ever say not my job or not my fault. Take responsibility. Take the blame and provide the praise to others. I'm gonna be a father and brag on my son right now. So my son, Graham White's been in the Army 21 years, 11 combat deployments, 3 to Iraq, 8 to Afghanistan. He's in Afghanistan as we speak, wounded in 2003 in the first IED that killed anybody, killed his driver, killed his gunner. He had a left chest wound. And I've been around some of his men without him even present, and they would come up to me, and I'm a retired colonel. There's nothing I can do for this. So if they're trying to butter me up, there's nothing I can do for them. I'm a retired colonel. So I would take this as coming from their heart. And they would say, "Sir, I'd follow your son anywhere." I said, "Really?" I said, if things mess up, Lieutenant White, Captain White, Major White, Colonel White, Lieutenant, whatever his rank was, he takes all the blame. If there's any praise and they direct it to your son, he said, "Oh, that's because Dan did so-and-so. That's because Stephanie did so-and-so." He deflects compliments. He accepts blame. Now, that doesn't mean once he accepts that blame, he may pull me off in the corner and say, "Hey, you need to really square this away." But to the outside world, he protects his unit. He protects his troops. He protects his people. And he provides all the glory to them. Treat others with dignity and respect. Just because you're the boss doesn't make that you're not God. Back to the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Would you want to work for yourself? Desire, you and I talked about that. You got a desire to be a good leader. By the way, we use the word leader. We're not using the word management. A good leader is a good manager. A manager is not necessarily a good leader.
Yes.
Not necessarily. You'd
Totally.
like them to be, but leadership is a higher level than management. Okay.
Yep. Different calling too. I think it's a totally different calling. Yeah.
Optimism and confidence. Be the person that the glass is half full, and be confident. That doesn't mean overconfident. You're always open to information, humility. Things can people help you out, but at least be confident, because people are, again, they're looking at you. Is he or she? Do they know what they're doing? Selflessness. Thinking about others before yourself. In here, I've got the leader eats last. In the military, whenever we were out in the field, especially, the higher the rank, the further back in the line you were to eat. Let's pretend that we're out in the field now. And this can apply, I'm just using food as an example, but you can apply the selflessness to many things. We're being served spaghetti with sauce and meatballs. The lowest ranking guy in that unit gets the spaghetti, the meat sauce, and the meatballs. The privates go through. The sergeants, we ran out of meatballs, so the sergeants are getting spaghetti and sauce. And the officers and finally the commander maybe get some spaghetti if there's any left. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's selflessness. You take care of those people, and they recognize that, and you're not manipulating them, you're not trying to trick them, but you're being selfless. You take care of your people. They will always take care of you. People ask the question, which is more important, the people or the mission? They're two different things. People always.
But you can't achieve the mission without the people.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
You always take care of your people. If you do that, you take care of the mission. The mission's going to get accomplished.
And getting them to care about the mission as much as you do. Important too, right?
Let me just read this closing thoughts. Mm-hmm. All of us are called to be leaders. Leaders have many titles, like husband, wife, mom, dad, teacher, coach, nurse, doctor, sergeant, manager, CEO, general, president, and so on and so on. Regardless of the title, all leaders have the responsibility of accomplishing the mission and taking care of those that we lead. The traits listed are not, the traits that I mentioned before, listed are not considered by me to be profound, but they're from my heart. They've always stood me in good stead and have been acquired over several decades of experiences, both dire and mundane. This list is no by means complete, and therefore the serious reader is encouraged to reflect on and add to it. Are leaders born or made? Yes. So
that's pretty cool.
I enjoyed being a leader, not because I got to be the boss, but one reason I enjoyed gaining higher rank in the Army was because I could hopefully influence more people in a positive way. The higher in rank you get, the more people you're responsible for. Hopefully you're affecting them in a positive way. There's more of them. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't about ego, it wasn't about more money or anything like that. It was about how many more people could I help in that regard. And I think God placed that in me. I place a desire to help people, and I thank God for that.
So I wrote down some like 4 little phrases or words, and I wanted to see like just the first word or phrase that came to your mind when I either say the...
I understand what you're saying. Okay.
It's like password, right? So the first one is discipline.
You mean the first thing comes out of my mind when you say a word?
When I say discipline, what do you think of first?
Making your bed.
I think I get that. Number 2, self-respect.
Shaving every day.
Cool. Number 3, don't make excuses.
Weakness. if you do.
That's good. And the last one is, what makes a man a man?
Following Jesus.